Hi, and welcome to the third tutorial in this series. Today we're diving into the advanced features of ChordSeqAI. Make sure to check out the first and second chapters if you need a refresher. We recommend following along in your browser to fully grasp some of the more complex features. Let's begin by specifying the model and style for a more complex progression. ChordSeqAI allows you to pick more than just a single genre. You can select and mix any as you wish. I would like to use a mixture of electronic music and jazz for a unique blend, so I will select both of these genres and also specify the relative weights. We recommend using small integers for the weights, such as here 2:1. We could do the same for the decade, but for this example, we will use just 2020s as we are going for a modern feel. Let's add our first chord. To search for a specific chord by name, use double quotes for an exact match. You can also use spaces to find chords containing multiple terms. Searching by notes has a few different modes. The Any Variant checkbox functions similarly to Include Variants in text search. The At Least mode can be useful if you know just some notes that you would like to be included. Exact Match is unsurprisingly used to find specific chords, and At Most mode can be utilized to find chords from a given scale, such as just diatonic chords of C major. We will select A minor 7. Let's look into what we can learn from the suggestions for the next chord. The decay is used to control the color indication. Lower values highlight just the most probable chords, while higher values broaden the spectrum. When we hover over a suggested chord, we can see some info about it, most notably the model predicted probability of that chord occurring given its preceding chords. Additionally, when the shown chord is a variant of another one, you will see its original name. We can also choose some of the top predictions using the numbers row near the top of the keyboard. Shortcut number row 1 will select the first prediction, number 2 the second, and so on. Sometimes we would like to choose an inversion of a chord or an alternative notation. This can be done via chord variants. If you select any chord in the timeline and press the chord variant button, a menu with the visualized chord as well as its variants will open. Alternatively, you can use the shortcut V, which can be found by hovering over the icon. By clicking on any variant, the preview will change. You can then apply the changes to this chord only or replace all occurrences in the sequence with it. A similar icon is also visible in Suggestions. You can also set the default variant by opening chord variants from Suggestions. Let's skip to see the finished sequence. If you want to change the key, use the transpose icon or press T. Up and down arrows can be used for quick navigation. Enter confirms the action, and Escape closes the menu. Let's open the Playback settings menu using the shortcut S. We can then modify the tempo by writing in the field or again by up and down arrow keys. Looping can be enabled or disabled using the shortcut L. We can start playback using the spacebar. If we are happy with the progression, we can export it via E, choose the file format, and confirm by pressing Enter. After finishing, we can clean the timeline by the Delete All Chords icon or using the shortcut Ctrl+Delete. To import MIDI files, click the Import icon or press I. Select your MIDI file, and an overlay will appear. Let's start by selecting the tracks with harmony. This includes any tracks with chords, basses, or just individual voices that contribute to the harmony. Percussion and melody tracks shouldn't be selected. Then select the appropriate quantization. The algorithm will split the MIDI file into chunks of this many beats, and each chunk gets processed individually. If your progression contains arpeggiated chords, the quantization should be as long as the chords. Finally, the quantization mode specifies whether to include all of the notes overlapping the chunk or only some. The algorithm is not perfect. You can experiment with some of the settings until your file gets parsed in the way you prefer. To finish up, let's talk about some limitations of ChordSeqAI. Note that chord duration and variance don't affect suggestions yet. Predictions are based on preceding chords, future ones are not considered. The suggestions are not perfect either, they are an AI-based estimate of how chords appear in music. We will continue developing this tool further to overcome some of the limitations. If you'd like to see some new features, you can request and vote for them on GitHub discussions. Similarly, if you find any bugs, you can use GitHub issues. The links are in the video description. Since this tool is open source, if you are a developer and have the required technical skills, you can also modify this app however you like and then self-host it. It is available on GitHub. That's it for now. You're now equipped to explore the advanced features of ChordSeqAI. Thanks for joining us, and happy composing.